morning, Master Clagone, when you awoke this morning, greeted you quite well. Um, though you were not at ease. You had troubled dreams this night, and a change of heart all of a sudden about adventuring. You bestowed upon the party some gifts, and they left you in your quarters, pushing deeper into the tomb, looking into the embers of the fire, munching on breakfast. You begin to have a change in heart once again. How could you leave those people? Perhaps your newfound friends, some of them, to do battle at your behalf when you are still capable of doing it yourself? Why would you be placed somewhere to guard something so valuable that you aren't even worthy of seeing it? It makes little logic. And if if anything makes sense to you, it's logic. You steel yourself and prepare to step off on your adventure once again. You find yourself alone in your barracks. Nothing but the cold, quiet tomb ambience you are ever so familiar with to make your company, and a streak of loneliness comes across you. What will you do? Just to, continue pushing forth once again.
Well, Clagone dawns on it. How could he leave his friends? They've slaughtered so many beings so far and was rescued by these people. Who knows what Clagone could have been on the goblin sex slave trade market by now if it wasn't for Mandian and Ski as well. I think the only true answer in Clagone's eyes is to prey on it and ask Julianos for help. What is this path that he has put him on?
Okay, very good. You may make a religion check at this time. And if you have a prayer you'd like to verbally say to help enhance the religion check, whatever you can throw will probably make the difference.
All right. Oh, hold on, stand by. I misclicked and I went back to the home. Let me fix that.
Happens. You're rusty now. Took that week off.
No. It's been a little bit a while. Come to me, Julianos. My wit is weak. I know not of this path that you have me on. I've left my only friends behind to guard a tomb, and for what? I was exiled here. My fellow brothers, sent me away. And yet I sit here in the dark alone, with only my prayers and Jebediah to keep me company. I must find a way out. I cannot stay here, lest there's too much. I am yet a young soul. I spend too much of my time here. Julianos, look over for me. Guide me on this path you have me on.
Okay.
Amen.
Excellent, Master Brolin. You may roll your religion check at this time to see how well you may commune with the gods. Very good. You solemnly finish your prayer and return your holy symbol to your person underneath the collar of your shirt and chainmail where Jebediah rests. And as you look down upon Jebediah, you look back up, and there's a bit of sheen, a bit of an extra glint of light upon the great shrine of Julianos in the corner. And you are filled with an even greater push of this renewed vigor within you, to push forward and find your adventuring companions, and potentially, maybe one day, your sweet friends. You can roll a d8 to see how many hit points you regain as the blessings of Julianos flow over you. Ooh, 4. Not bad. Okay. You regain 4 hit points at this time to represent this renewed feeling of vigor, and your confidence has increased.
Julianos is with me. I must step back out into that darkness and find those who save me. My saviors, my only companions. Thank you, Julianos, for this sign, as I will not let you down and take this path that you have set for me. In doing so, Clagone is going to turn to the fireplace and whip out one of his pre-made torches and light it with the fireplace light.
Okay, very good. I will adjust your light in just a few seconds, as long as it takes me to manage such a thing. Boom. The entirety of the chamber is now lit. Your torchlight being quite brighter than that of the dimming fireplace.
Now that Clagone is set, he will put his shield on his back and equip the Morningstar that he had stashed away in one of his chests.
Okay, a new configuration for Clagone Brolin.
Yes.
Morningstar and torch, you set forth. The exit, as you know, is just to the south. There's a large pulley contraption here in the corner. All you need to do is yank on it with a good bit of strength, and you will be able to hoist up the door enough for you to slip through.
Shields are 2 armor points, correct?
If you go into the inventory section and uncheck the shield, that will adjust.
Ah.
Yes, yep. You have no need to do it manually.
The fighting style defense.
Oh, the fighting style defense can stay. It's the
It's the shield
the
in that.
Yeah,
Got
yep,
it. Got it.
Yep. Your actual shield. Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Now that Clagone is set with the Morningstar in his left hand and the torch in his right.
Just double checking. Excellent. Excellent.
He is gonna hit this contraption to open the door.
Okay.
With all his might.
Very good.
He did for his fellow companions.
You've done this once or twice, so no roll will be asked of you at this time. The door swings open. The large cast iron beast, kneeling to your command as you push forth. As you head through as you head through the threshold, the leash of the door, if you will, is at its maximum length. So you drop it and move out of the way rather quickly as the giant metallic door comes slamming back down behind you. And you are out in the large chamber that you have patrolled many times before. But now it is littered with many corpses. I'll have you make a perception check, please. As the rumbling of the door settles down and a still calmness comes over this interior once again, you keep your eyes and ears peeled for any movement that happens in reaction to your changes to the nearby environment, but don't see much.
Yeah.
All the creatures around here are seemingly dead, or they are hiding rather well.
A shudder reaches down Clagon's spine as he remembers the horrors that took place in this chamber.
A mighty battle.
And Clagon's gonna continue down south as he faintly remembers where the tomb that Mandy and Oldsgood and Skiswell were after. Searching for the door.
Yeah, it's a bit different now. What would the battlefield-esque interior, but you recollect it to be more eastward.
Slow and steady makes. You never know what lurks
It's
beyond.
true, though.
Oh,
It is true. You come across a wooden palisade in a hole in the ground, and as you push forth onto it, at this point you're stepping on right now, you can feel the earth loosen beneath your feet as more of the floor gives out underneath you. The brickwork sliding down in almost a free fall with you along with it.
oh shit!
You tumble down into this hole. Deep. I'll have you make a dexterity save. As you are tumbling down into the subterranean tunnel. 16, very good. You manage to suffer no damage as you tuck your frame tightly, and with your shield on your back, it almost acts as a brace. As you slam your ass and back off against the back of this tunnel, as it changes from being purely vertical to more of like a J maneuver and begins to curve and turn downward. You sliding all the while, almost in free fall. Dirt and dust getting kicked up in your face, your torchlight illuminating the interior of this tunnel complex that just continues shooting down. You can see every now and then the black void looking holes that branch off of this one and carry in all different sorts of many directions. Before you eventually skid and plop and slide out into another chamber of some kind before smashing into the ground. I'll have you make an acrobatics check to see how well you can land. As you have a bit, yeah, it's a bit abrupt, and your back kind of gets hit as the slope comes up at a bit of an abrupt angle before spitting you out into an empty chamber comprised of dirt as opposed to stone. You take a measly 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you strike upon the ground quite abruptly.
Julianos gave me that hit points for a reason.
If you suspect it may very well be. At this time, the space that you're in, your torch still illuminated. You can see that it's more of the it's very similar to the surface complex. It's not as it's not very defined down here. There's very little brickwork, if any, from what you can see, and the walls are. It looks like you're kind of in a natural cave system now at this time, rather than in your tomb still. You descended a good while, it seems.
What the fuck happened?
Taking your torch, you're kind of looking around, catching your breath, a little battered and bruised from your journey. You can hear the squeaking of Jebediah, who seems to be all right at this time. And you find yourself in sort of like a bottleneck room. You're very, very bottle-shaped, with only one entrance and exit, it seems to you, to be very apparent at this time.
Clagon's gonna push forward into this sort of bottleneck entrance, slowly taking his steps and gathering his surroundings.
Okay, very good. You push forth and make it through the archway entrance of this bottle-shaped room, and it pushes further Past this doorway now, you can see that it carries on like this cavernous hallway. Ceiling's quite sizable, a good 7 feet tall, and about a good 20 feet wide. So you're not feeling claustrophobic by any stretch of the imagination. But what does strike you is there is what looks like light coming from an outcropping on the side of the hallway, up ahead to the right, about 100 meters or so away. 100 feet, rather. Excuse me.
Clagone sees this light and he's gonna shout out, "Mandian! Is that you?"
You can hear a bit of scuffling and a bit of chirping, and then silence. You're not sure what lies up ahead, but it's likely not your compatriots, as no response hits your ears for a few heartbeats.
Who in bloody hell is this? Clagone's gonna slowly breach down that hallway with his Morningstar ready for any sort of conflict that arises.
Okay, your torch still lit.
Yep. Torch extended out and Morningstar cocked back, kind of
Okay.
held at the side.
Now, as I said, the hallway is a good, 15 feet wide or so. Would you like to hug like the left side of the hallway wall, the right side of the hallway wall, go down the center? What do you think?
Clagone's gonna hug that left side for now.
Okay. The furthest away from where the light is emanating from that outcropping, you push and slide your way along the left-hand wall. Are you attempting to be stealthy now, or are you just being alert?
We're gonna be alert for now before being stealthy.
Okay. All right. Very good. Just keeping your eye out and sliding forth. You are just about within range of what you can see to be a humanoid, what looks like a goblin of some kind, before it darts behind a campfire over to the right, hiding behind this gorge. And at this point, combat begins. I will go ahead and switch over and give you a visual on what's happening here. Let's see. Here you are, as you've probably guessed right now. Here's the outcropping to the right of the hallway, and there are the goblins. You can see at least 2 of these creatures hunked over by this fire, who seem quite startled by you. Neither side will have any type of advantage for this battle, as you guys have kind of stumbled upon one another. If anything, you knew they were coming, so no bonus of any kind for them. Ooh! Damn!
Oh boy.
Nice, dude. Oh shit, did you select Clagone Brolin? I don't think so.
I did not.
Damn. I mean, I'll give it to you because it was really good, but damn. Can't forget that.
I know, I tend to.
It's a real killer.
Hold on, you know what? We're going for...
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, this is what happens. This is what happens around here. Now I don't know what to do.
I went from a 20 to the 1!
Now I don't know what to think.
I'm gonna puke.
I mean, you knew they were coming. And the only reason you didn't get that roll is because of technical error. So I'll allow you to have it this time, but let that be a lesson to you about how important it is to click on your dude before you roll initiative.
Oh god, that was catastrophic.
Doesn't rain often, but when it rains, it storms around here. Okay, Clagone Brolin, you knew these creatures were up here, so it makes sense that you have such a good jump on them in this combat order. What are you gonna do? You're up against this cavern wall. You've got creatures ahead of you, at least 2 from what you can see, about a good 50 feet away.
You know what? Clagone is gonna do a dash action.
Okay, very good. With that,
He's gonna
you can
storm
move
them.
60 feet.
We're gonna move 50 feet, like so.
Okay, very good. That will consume your attack, of course, because instead of using your attack action, you'll be using your action to dash. So you just push up to close the distance before these creatures have any time to react. You can see that these two goblins aren't like the tanner, sand-colored goblins that you were encountering before. These goblins are more familiar to you, of the, like, you know, juvenile forestry type, and they seem like rather easy prey. If I'm not being too bold in my statements, and they are definitely off-put.
Do I still have a bonus action?
You do have a bonus action.
Oh god, I did a repeating attack on accident. That's not what I want to do. Can I try to intimidate these goblins and demand
Ooh.
what they're doing down here?
Okay, all right. You're gonna have to. How do you intimidate them? I guess, right? You know, you're gonna have to come up with a night, because you know your presence is already pretty unsettling, and you're upon them. So I'll say there's a chance, but you have to really sell it.
So, the goblins, they're around this campfire. When they look, and approaching from this light is a towering, beefy man with a long beard and a raised mace-like weapon, screaming at them, demanding information. And all Clagone is, as he's sprinting, "What are you doing here? Where are the others?" With his Morningstar raised, ready to bonk some goblins on the head.
Admittedly, a frightening sight before the campfire, and running upon them with intent to murder. As they've likely heard stories of the human adventurers who've been pushing past into the goblin warren thus far, and suspect you may very well be one of them. Go ahead and roll your intimidation check, and we'll see. We will see how the goblins.
No!
These goblins kind of like look at each other real quick, and then look back at you. They're like, "Oh, Hishamika!" Do you speak Goblin?
Do not speak Goblin.
Okay, it could very well be that they don't speak the common language and can't understand you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably why intimidation didn't work.
You can see that initially they flinched upon seeing you, but they were able to track your movements fairly easily, and you guys pretty much saw each other at the same time. So they were ready, and may very well go down fighting.
Let it be so.
Anything else, Master Brolin?
That will be all for Master Brolin.
Okay. One of these creatures pushes around the right side of the fire over toward your left side and takes a jab at you with a small weapon. A small bladed weapon. A 14. Zing! Even with no shield, you're able to stick out the torch into the face of the creature and keep the creature's swing at bay from being able to make contact with you. This other creature before you, this goblinoid, reaches down towards his left side of his hip with his right hand and reaches up with a diagonal swing towards your face. You see it coming out of your right hand periphery and are able to dodge out of the way with little issue. You're up, Master Brolin. What do you got?
Okay. Alright. Clagone, knowing that his intimidation didn't work, instead, the only thing that comes to his mind is mock their language. And come down with the Morningstar on the one he faces. With an overhead
Oh, you can see this goblin looking up, a little confused about what you're uttering from your mouth, and he is unable, and it's too late for him before he sees the long metallic, pretty much one-handed weapon, ending in a nice crude iron ball with spikes protruding from it as it crunches onto the top of the skull of the goblin, wounding it mortally, but not killing it outright. This goblin is bloodied. Anything else?
A
gnarly blow. Like, I mean, the next strike will likely kill him, but he's not dead quite yet.
For my bonus action, I'm gonna release Jebediah from the strain of the armor in this conflict that's gonna ensue.
Ooh, very good. All right, you kind of reach up and with your pinky pull back on your on your chainmail and collar, and Jebediah takes the cue to, and Jebediah comes flowing out into the cave. This goblin looks a little distracted momentarily by Jebediah. It might give you an edge in the next turn of combat to come.
That will be all for Master Brolin.
Let's see, how distracted is the goblin? Oh, the goblin's very distracted by Jebediah. And it kind of like bats away at Jebediah a bit. You'll definitely have advantage on attacking this goblin next turn. Speaking of which, while he's swinging away over at Jebediah, trying to lash at him, Jebediah safely 10 feet up in the air already. The edged weapon does come in your direction. No, yeah, it hardly even reaches. The swipes are incredibly easy for you to dodge. This goblin, though wounded, he's like saying to the other one, probably a tad frustrated, and takes a lunge in your direction. It's close, but you're able to parry it with your Morningstar, and you find yourself in combat once again.
All right. Clagone, seeing as this goblin right here was trying to attack Jebediah, he's overcome with rage and will go with the Morningstar Attack on him, yelling, "Get away from him!"
Okay, you may do so with advantage. Oh, nice. That is a hitter. You can see the goblin with his left hand kind of like covering his eyes and his right hand swinging up wildly toward the air. He didn't even see you coming as you bring a gnarly understrike to his, beneath his chin that connects with him, a full blow, but just barely not enough to slay the creature. It is on its last legs, bloodied as well, heavily. You get back into a readying stance, and you see that this one is spitting out some teeth and blood onto the ground. These goblins are fucked up, but they remain combat ready. Anything else, my friend?
No, that will be all for Clagone.
Okay, don't forget to toggle your advantage back off if you haven't already.
Already done.
This goblin is going to take a strike at you with the small blade. He is so heavily bloodied, just his jaw and face is just mangled. He's unable to get a good strike off on you by any stretch of the imagination. On the other hand, this one, over to your side, is able to get in a strike before you were able to see his sly, agile motions coming. A sudden burst of energy coming over him. That is your armor class, so we're going to have to flip a coin to see what strikes. Ooh, he hits you. You take 1 slashing damage as you can feel the sting of a small goblin blade just barely able to penetrate through your gauntlet. A shallow wound, but a wound nonetheless. You are up, Master Clagone.
Clagone feeling a little tickle, a little puncture, kind of like a toothpick against the skin. He turns and backhands this goblin with a Morningstar.
A rotating swing. Ooh, and a delicious hit. You strike the creature square on, killing it. How does it die?
The Morningstar strikes him on the side of the head, and as it does, the spikes in the mace get stuck into his head, and as he comes down, Clagone does an upward thrust and unsticks it.
There's a disgusting ripping noise as the sticky flesh of the goblin's cranium comes pulling between the Morningstar and the skull, and the creature lies perished on the ground, vanquished.
And now, with Great Weapon Master reducing...
Yep.
Since I killed that creature, Clagone is going to finish off the other one in another smooth motion.
Okay.
That upward thrust from the head hits this goblin. Well, we'll hope, but it attempts to hit the goblin.
Okay.
It hits the goblin.
It strikes the goblin, killing it. How does it die? The double kill.
The same way. A completely accidental death, but a good one at that.
Fucking swinging blindly at the goblin. You're so surprised when it connects it in a mirrored way on the side of the temple, sticking into the goblin's head before ripping slowly, pulling the sticky substance from between your mace and its head as it collapses over onto the fire. All creatures in combat slain. The combat initiative is clear at this time. Combat has ended. Well done, Master Clagone. You stand yourself a victor once again. You may add 2 more lesser goblins to your kill count whenever you please.
Hoorah.
And you are left but with the stillness of this unfamiliar chamber. You're surprised to find something so close to where you've been sleeping for so long. But then again, it's hard. This area's probably been here for a while, though you suspect that the tunnels that you slid through are rather freshly created.
This is not a safe space. I don't want to be here. In doing so, Clagon's gonna search these goblins for any sort of anything they might have in their inventory that they might have come across his earlier party.
Okay, excellent, very good. You may make an investigation check to loot both of the goblin corpses. You quickly pull that other one out of the fire before it
Engulfs in flames.
Yeah, it turns into a hazardous situation. 6 investigation. You make haste knowing that you aren't in a safe area and don't do the most thorough of a searching job. That being said, you do get some goodies. You get 6 gold pieces. You get another torch, it looks like. I'll go ahead and add that. And you also got what looks like a potion of healing to you.
Ooh.
It looks cracked and nibbled on the exterior for whatever reason, but it appears to be in pretty good tact.
I will take all items.
Okay, very good. I've added it all except for the gold. You can add your own 6 gold if you have not already.
Yeah. Done so.
Okay.
After searching these goblins, Clagon's gonna search deeper as he spots the glimmer of something metallic in the corner from the fire.
You can make a perception check if you want to check out everything in the vicinity, but the chest is, of course, the most noticeable thing that is pointed out to you right away. But you do have your torchlight going, so you can, well, not really focusing on the surroundings and beelining right for the sweet chest you see beyond. You push forth, noticing a barrel of liquid over the corner, which doesn't really strike your fancy quite at this moment. You make your way for the chest. That looks far more appetizing.
All right, yeah, I will go for opening this chest and peer in.
Ah, very good. You open on up the chest, which doesn't appear to be locked, and as I guess I should ask you what hand you do this with, just because your hands are full. So
I'm gonna set the Morningstar on the ground as I do so.
Okay, you place the Morningstar onto the ground with your right hand, left hand still bearing the torch, and reach out to open up the lid of the chest. It swings open easily enough. You don't see anything remarkable immediately, and then you spot it. It looks like there's teeth both on the top interior of the lid and on the bottom of the lid that are just jagged and growing suddenly. These teeth growing out of the chest. You hold your hand away from the lid on the top of the chest, and it is stuck to the fucking top of the chest. You cannot break it away.
No!
Just then, God. You look up toward the buckles and iron reinforcements that are on the top of this wooden chest, and a pair of eyes make themselves visible to you, and a squelching sound comes out as a purple tongue comes out of the chest, and it's now all of a sudden you see like the guise of a creature with a bit of like purple gums and so on and so forth peering out from the top and bottom of the lids of the chest. The creature you have stumbled upon and have fallen into the trap to.
Mimic.
A mimic. Creatures you have heard of before, though this is your first encounter with one. And we find ourselves in the combat order once again. Damn, did you not do it again? I hate to see it.
I did. I think I did it before the turn order, though.
Oh, okay.
It
All right.
worked.
Yeah, nope. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Everything's fine. You were just so fast. It didn't even matter.
All
Okay.
right. I'm gonna start with a bonus action. I'm gonna see if I can attempt to dump this torch into this opening and closing mouth and time it just right.
Ooh, okay. I would say make an athletics check. That will kind of serve as your attack in this instance. An 18, that's pretty good. I would say you were able to lodge the torch into the mouth of this creature. It squelches with a terrible response. I will go ahead and roll for that. Boom. 3 fire damage the creature suffers before spitting the torch back out upon the floor. Your hand now free.
All right. Now, after dumping this torch, I will pick the Morningstar back up off the ground since my other hand is still stuck to this chest.
Yes. Okay. Yep. You are able to reach it with no issue. You are able to reach it with no issue. I would say you still have your action because picking up your Morningstar can be part of your movement.
Ooh. Well, if I
I'll
still have
allow
my
it.
action, then I'll go for an attack with the Morningstar.
Actually, that is what I recommend, my friend.
This thing is horrendous. It needs to die.
Yes, it is. It is terrifying to be in such close proximity to such a beast. It should be said that you are currently grappled, and as such, your speed becomes 0, so you cannot benefit from speed or any bonus to speed. And that's pretty much the long and short of it. You pretty much just can't move.
It's all right though. At least I'm a melee based.
It is true. It is true. This creature may very well
That's what
not
I'm
have known what it is, what it's getting into trouble with here. A 20 strikes the creature with no issue. In nasty 8 piercing damage as you bludgeon onto the top of the chest, indenting in the frame of the chestwork, and the creature squelches and fucking writhes around, moving you with it all the while. Anything furthermore on that whopping turn, Master Brolin?
God, that would be a no. That would be it for Clagone it.
Okay, very good. This chest turn, you are adhered to it, which, thanks to the Mimic's grappler ability, it will have advantage on attack rolls against you because you are grappled by it.
No.
If it wasn't for that ability, it wouldn't be a big deal. This creature lashes out at you and tries to chomp upon your arm with advantage. A 21. It quanches onto the arm in which you've affixed to, kind of up onto your right forearm, and it you feel the sting of 2 piercing damage, and then as it releases its grip from you, and then retreats back down upon the floor at your feet, you can feel that burning and sizzling as you take another 2 acid damage. 4 damage in total. It burns. Not debilitating, but certainly unpleasant and quite painful. You are up, Master Clagone. Morningstar in hand.
Clagone, frustrated, is gonna go with another Morningstar, screaming, "Die, you foul beast! Unhand me!"
Okay, sweet. You bring that bitch down, striking the creature for 10 piercing damage. You vanquish the beast. How does it die?
It's gonna be another downwards, and in doing so, it's gonna come down with such force that it breaks the lid in half.
Whew, very good. It is. It is. It is so. The top lid of the chest breaks and folds. The both pieces kind of spiraling out before the purple, sticky flesh of the true creature underneath it kind of reaches the extent of how far it can travel elastically and is pulled back. A cloud of dust slapping to the ground as the creature writhes. A few gold pieces falling out of its fuck. I don't quite remember. It's maw. it's toothy. It's toothy present. And the battlefield comes quiet once again. Oh, whoops.
God. I can't trust chests anymore. The fuckers. Clagone's gonna go and scrounge up any gold pieces that fell out of its mouth.
Okay, you can make an investigation check with advantage. Because you were right up in front of it, and, say, you still have light in this interior. Though, it should be said the ground is quite soft, so it could be easy for such small things to get lost. Ooh, nice. Alright, yeah, very good. 17 minus 1. Yeah, no, excellent. You are able to find the entirety of the 8 gold pieces that were spit out by this creature loosely onto the ground. And that is the extent of the ground gold pieces that you encounter.
How many gold pieces were there again?
That was, oh shit, 8?
8? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say 8. I just spitballed one. You did really good, so that's, as many as I imagine being there. And the creature's corpse lies upon the ground.
Alright, and then Clagone will go to search the creature and see what nastiness it may have on him.
Alright, very good. It should be said that
But
searching... Yes.
I will say, he will avoid touching the sticky purpley flesh that was on this creature.
Okay, very good. You do your utmost to do so. You can make another investigation check with advantage. Ooh, alright. Not the best, not the worst. You're apprehensive to really get down into the guts and grimes of the creature. But you can see that there are some other sweet things in there. But you save that for later if you feel that you really need them. For now, the things that are easily accessible amongst the carcass without really having to interact with it too much are another 10 gold pieces that you may add at this time. You find an additional 4 potions of healing. I'll go ahead and add those to your inventory.
Ooh, boy.
You are exalted to find not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. One after another in this creature. In addition, you find a potion that looks quite more interesting than the other mere health potions. You pick it up and check it out. It has pretty much a water consistency about it. The glass yellow and tinted. It's difficult to make out the nature of this liquid. I will just add a yellow potion to your inventory until you decide to check it out any further.
Clagone's interested by the already easy loot he found. He wants to know what's deeper in there. He's gonna drop his Morningstar on the ground yet again and whip out his hand axe and see if he can't chop away at the purpley flesh to get into an easier opening.
Alright, very good. You begin hacking away at this creature. Not desiring to pilfer through it like it's the carcass of some animal, but rather treating it like the toxin and danger that it could very well possess. You act cautiously in this regard, and are able to hack off sizable portions and bits of the creature, unveiling the contents within it. Much more easier to gain. You find an additional 6 gold pieces.
Interesting.
You find what appears to be 2 daggers, if you want them.
I will leave the daggers.
Okay, you leave the daggers behind. You find, in addition, 2 hand axes, if you want them.
I'll take 1 hand axe for now.
Okay, I'll add a hand axe to your inventory. You have a total of 2 at this time. Let's see, anything else in there? You do not spot much. That appears to be the majority of the contents within this creature.
Clagone is satisfied. He feels he's got his worth out of such a horrific creature.
Yeah, that could have gone far more south. But thankfully, you are at least heavily armored and well prepared.
After that, Clagone's gonna go and investigate this liquid barrel and peer over the top to see what possibly this liquid could be.
Okay, very good. You you get near it and it looks suspiciously like it could be a brew of some kind. Not believing it to be the case, you apprehensively get closer and closer to it, and what do you do to investigate it?
Checking my inventory to see what I could utilize.
Okay, going through your pack and your person, you can hear the every now and then of Jebediah, who is still kind of fluttering about at the top of the chamber, back and forth quite rapidly, as bats do. Seems to be enjoying their time.
Clagone is gonna pop a potion of healing and utilize that empty vial from the potion of healing he just drunk to collect said brew.
Ooh, okay, very good. You may deduct 1 potion of healing. I believe you know how to do so.
Yes.
And roll to regain health from said potion of healing.
Remind me again.
That would be 2d4 plus 2. Ooh, not too bad. Not too bad. I believe that's the one that you found off the dead goblin, potentially, and it's quite
correct.
Yeah, and despite your suspicions, it does not seem to be compromised, and is quite fulfilling and nourishing. You regain a whopping 7 HP, which gets you just about to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Okay.
Yeah, I will use that empty vial to collect this liquid and then investigate it further later on. We're acting with haste here. It's time to get moving.
Okay, very good. I will go ahead and let's see. You've done excellent deducting your potion of healing. I will add vial of brown liquid to your inventory.
I hope this isn't goblin shit.
It is the consistency of water, so you really hope it's not goblin shit, but it doesn't reek like goblin shit. You haven't quite, dared to get a whiff of it, but it doesn't have a very pungent odor that keeps you at bay, at least.
Clagone is satisfied. He feels that he's gotten what he's needed from this unfortunate encounter as he realizes, as he soon snaps back to reality, this isn't a safe place and he still has his companions to find.
Too true.
So Clagone will move back to that left side of the wall and proceed down the hallway.
Okay. It should be said, your torch was extinguished in the mimic encounter.
Actually, before Clagone forgets,
You return to the light.
he'll walk back to the mimic and stash his hand axe and pick up the Morningstar. How could he forget his primary weapon?
Oh, too true. Very good.
Then he will walk to the campfire and light yet another torch, redoing his same configuration he entered this unfortunate situation.
You may deduct yet another torch. Um, and it should be said, as you went to reinvestigate the mimic corpse once again, or at least to regain your fallen weapon, you spotted a note on the ground by the mouth of the creature which you had not seen prior.
Oh. Well, snatch said note and give it a read.
Very good. It doesn't appear to be too lengthy, so you take the time to read it as is, with the fire lit nearby. It reads, "Dearest Logan, should you enter the swine competition this year to try to place your pig for first place, I suggest letting him have a swig of this fine potion. I am sure that when the judges see the magnitude of your beast, then, you will get first prize for sure. And then you must spend it at my bar. Yours, and best of luck, Arvel the Swift."
Huh. Interesting.
The note ends there.
I think I was gonna mark this. Remember this dearly. Is could be one of two things, as he has two unidentified liquids. Possibly one could be some sort of steroid type potion. But he will think of it nonetheless and investigate later, as he is to get moving.
Yeah.
Some good knowledge, yet a 50-50 chance.
Alright. You push back up against the left side of this cavern wall and begin sliding along the rocky exterior forward. It should be said, before you continue forth anymore, the floor pattern is beginning to change. Instead of being soft sand and earth, it's starting to turn now into like a harder, more compacted soil. You know, a more firm, less soft ground. And before you can see quite clearly, stretching up as high as the eye can see, two large stone pillars that remind you of the tomb complex of which you've called home for quite some time now. Seemingly support structures that reach up toward the ceiling you have yet to make contact with.
Must be getting back on path. I shall. It's going to proceed into this sort of room.
You push forth into what you believe is going to be a room and pass through the threshold into what you are going to expect to be another interior, only to have the wind, a breeze, catch you out of nowhere, and you are struck with perhaps one of the cleanest breaths of air you have breathed since you've been down here in the subterranean warren. You are in a massive expanse. It feels like it feels like you're almost outside. That's the caliber of how large this area is. There is its own current within it from which you feel in the air. Just off to your left, the ground you are in kind of points off into a spearhead and shears off to the left and right side at quite drastic angles. If you peer over an edge, all you see all the way down, aside from the rock wall that carries it, is darkness. There is no, there is just black void underneath you.
Oh, shit.
You can make a perception check, please, at this time, because there's other things for you to spot. But this area is seriously impressive. It's pretty much the first thing that comes to mind. A 12 perception check. Checking out along like the walls and so on, you don't find much. It all appears to be the same caliber of stone wall that continues all the way over to your left and right, as far as you can tell. You could very well be in a massive gorge or some kind of huge ravine or sinkhole. It isn't very clear to you. But what you can see is directly above you, there is a vertical, like, rectangular bar that is running narrowly and far away, it seems to you. Almost for the entirety of this expanse. Above you, it's like pitch black. and then further ahead of you, almost out in the middle of this great space, up on top of you, probably 50, 60 feet or so away, you can see light from some kind of light source being shed, though you do not see the origin of where the light is coming from. You can see the light radiating off the right and left-hand side of this giant black bar that is moving from, you think, where you're standing above you 50 feet to wherever this other place leads. And you look further ahead, diagonally, off ahead of you, and can see more lights over in the distance. And indeed, you can see the other side of this huge ravine. It's like you're in some kind of giant gorge of some kind underground, and there's lights over in the distance, like way over, probably hundreds of feet away.
Oh dear!
And then it catches your ears. Ding, dong, ding, ding, ding. Suddenly, a goblin falls over in the darkness from beyond the black bar and falls over through the cloud of radiant light past you and then past down below you. down over into the darkness. A few heartbeats pass. A few seconds pass. You can no longer hear the scream of the goblin. And for as long as you wait, you do not hear the sound of the goblin hitting the ground. You can make a if you want to like try to glean more from this situation about like the details, in case I didn't explain it accurately, I can give you a bit more of like a more definitive thing if you want to roll like an intelligence check to see what Clagone is making from this display, or if you just want to roll with what you think is happening here, right? And ask questions as you normally do. It's up to you.
I want to say there's some sort of ledge above, and from that there's a battle possibly going on, and as a goblin was possibly Sparta kicked to his death. But you said there was a bar up above. Trying to think on if this bar connects to this ledge. If there's a way to.
It does seem so. From what you can tell, this bar could very well be the silhouette of a bridge that runs from one ledge of this huge chasm to the other that's above you 50 feet up in the air. And you're having a hard time seeing it because the light from your torch can't quite reach that. And there's lights up on top of it that are casting shadows down to you, which is making it harder to see. So all you can really see is like, the underside of like this black bar that's huge and running ahead of you, as pretty much as far as you can see.
Interesting.
And the goblin, you just got either tossed or thrown, whatever, from the bridge.
Best way, gonna find a way up to that bridge. And do these pillars connect in any way?
The pillars.
Can I even make that out?
You can. The pillars join at a point that's about 20 feet up in the air. It's very impressive architecture, and you can tell this is certainly not the way that this is meant to be ascended. You're purely in like a support structure area that was abandoned at some point or time. Maybe there was a land bridge here that used to run to the other side of the chasm, but you see no such thing out in that darkness. And there's no light sources supporting such a thing. And the amount of handhelds that you can see on these stone pillars themselves are few and far between. It looks like whatever little wind is here is enough to keep these keep this masonry from being very coarse and having a lot of issues. It does look old, and you could probably wiggle out some bricks here and there and eventually fashion yourself, a way to climb up these things, but it'd be dangerous and would take a long time. Same thing as far as you can tell with what's going on the side of these cavern walls. They look very very slick, and there could be handholds that you could negotiate eventually, but you know it would be a big task and would take probably far too long than you have the endurance for, I guess, right?
Yes.
The dimensions here are fucking insane.
I've got a sketchy idea that may or may not work. But I have an explorer's pack, which may or may not come with hemp rope.
I
I
believe
can.
it. I believe it does. Um, I believe it does. Allow me one moment to double check. Explorer's pack. Um, it does give you 50 feet of hempen rope. Let's see. Do you have that in your inventory already? It. I don't know if you do. We might have forgotten your rope. So I will add that at this time. You do have your backpack, your bedroll, you do have your mess kit, you do have your tinderbox. So it gave you everything you were supposed to get except for the rope, it looks like. So I'll go ahead and add that at this moment. You do have 50 feet of rope that you can play with.
Well, we have these pillars here, and we need to find a way up to that bar. We could, essentially. You've seen that movie Prey, right?
I've not, no,
Damn
unfortunately.
it. Okay, that's
Unfortunately.
fine. That's fine. I can explain it. Um, it'd probably be better with a spear as it'd have more range.
Mm,
But if I tie an end to that spear, make it nice and tight, double knot, um,
okay.
to one end to the spear, I can throw the spear and hope somehow, with enough strength, I can get it stuck into this pillar somehow.
Mm,
With it's an old pillar, but it is a hard substance, so it'll be not an easy task. But if I
true.
can throw the spear and lodge it in, I can use it as some sort of climbing anchor
Mm,
to make my way up.
sure. Sure, potentially. I would say you'd probably have an easier time doing that with the cavern wall than you would with the stone pillar. But of course, the cavern wall has the obvious hazard of the bottomless pit beneath you.
Yes.
But truth be told, so does the pillar. You could try to climb from you could try to throw it on this side, outside, and then climb from like the inside of the pillar.
Inside.
Yeah, that might be safe. Um, but again, it is going to be harder to try to do with the stonework than it would be the cavern side.
It's true.
While you're contemplating over this and formulating your ascension
Does
plan.
this
Yes.
cavern side at least go upwards in any ways, or is it just like
Yes.
a? Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
It goes up pretty much as far as you can see. It seems like it goes up to at least meet the what you think could be a bridge above you, about 50 feet up. It probably goes up further than that because there is no sunlight peeking in from anywhere. It is just blackness, with every now and then the warm radiant light kind of like showing itself. It's pretty much showing the extent of how far the light can go in this advanced darkness, so deep underground. As you're checking out the side of this cavern wall, you can hear the squeaking of Jebediah as Jebediah still flutters around in the cavern hallway.
Um, Clagon's gonna inspect these pillars with a spear and see how strong these pillars are. See if it is even possible with the stonework to even find some way to lodge a spear in here.
Okay, you can make an investigation check to check out the stonework of these pillars, seemingly been here since the dawn of time. Um, Despite how ancient you believe them to be, they seem remarkably stout, and you imagine it'd be a difficult task in the best of conditions to jam a spear in here. Given the broadhead nature of the spears that you possess.
Well, that sounds about right. You know,
Mm.
worth a shot. Clagon's gonna go ahead and tie that hempen rope to the spear.
Okay.
And after doing so, he's gonna throw his spear into this cavern wall. If I can ping it. Maybe. Or I'll just use the ruler. Right here. He's
Ooh,
gonna throw
right
that spear and see if maybe he could get a lock, a solid little tie. If so,
on. Okay. Make an
good
attack with
news.
your spear. Let's see. Let's see how she go. Ooh, not too bad. You toss the spear, holding onto the rope and allowing it to release and glide through your hands, preparing to grip it at the last second or whenever you deem it appropriate. It glints off, strikes into the side of the cavern wall, and remains stationary. And you give it a tug to test to see if it's going to remain in there, and it falls out.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Clagon's gonna go ahead and wind up his rope together.
Okay, you begin winding it up. You can hear again the chirping of Jebediah off to your left. Chirping about. Seems to be having quite a time down here in this cavern environment.
They said that bar is 50 feet up, right?
Yes, the bar or bridge potentially is you believe to be 50 feet up. It's hard to gauge exactly, given your current perspective, but you feel it's not too far away, but far enough away that it's a pain in the ass. That's for sure.
Damn it to hell. Alright, Clagon's gonna step back inside and ponder about his situation real quick and see if maybe there's something he can possibly locate that would help.
Okay, you begin pushing back in, and you hear the fluttering of Jebediah as they come to nestle upon your head. Jebediah kind of crawls down your face, down over onto your shoulder.
Clagon's gonna whip out an identify scroll and use it on the brew that he found.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Jebediah watches in amazement as you bust out the scroll from your backpack parchment and unfold them. Are you still casting identify on the brew, the vial of potion
Yes.
that you found?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will do it on the brew.
Okay.
You know what? I'll do the potion as well. I'll do them both.
Ooh. Okay. All right. You'll have to do one at a time, and it takes a bit of
Yes.
takes a little while to do because it's like
We'll do the
yes.
brew first, though.
Okay. Very good. No problem. Let me see. I need to look up the list of spells real quick. Cha cha cha, cha cha, cha cha. Sure would love to search for one. Oh Jesus! I don't know why I didn't just do that. All right. It will cost something to cast the identify spell, even in scroll form. It is an expensive spell to cast, and typically the spell itself requires at least 100 gold pieces worth of like a valuable item to be sacrificed toward the scroll. For the sake of the tutorial dungeon, and since it's a scroll and not the spell itself, a good portion of the casting gist is residing within the scroll. We'll say these scrolls seem to be a bit more abnormally powerful, and you will be able to sacrificing about 50 gold's worth of valuable is to be able to cast the Identify spell. So I do suggest thinking about what you really want to do for your
I
for
do
your
have a
Identify.
gold necklace.
The gold necklace will make up some of the cost, and you can also put up something that's worth a lot of sentimental value to you,
Oh no, no.
which some people have done in the past.
Not my holy symbol.
Oof, yeah, no, I probably don't recommend the holy symbol.
How much is the gold necklace worth?
The gold necklace would probably cover about half the cost, I would say.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna risk 25 gold pieces and the gold necklace. I'm gonna sacrifice it for this brown liquid.
Okay.
Oh, God. It's a 50-50 because
I don't know.
you
Well,
have your yellow potion and you have your brown
Hmm.
liquid.
You do know that the yellow potion is well, I don't know. Truth be told, you haven't really checked out the yellow potion yet, have you?
I haven't. I kind of just grabbed it. I know it's a
Hmm.
watery.
Hmm.
It's a watery potion in a yellow bottle.
Yes.
There was that note in front of the mimic. I just don't know if it was for the brown liquid or the yellow potion.
Ooh. You can make an intelligence check to see. Clagone could have the answer.
Intelligence save.
Just a regular intelligence check. You can click on the intelligence attribute, and it just
Ah,
rolls your
okay.
intelligence flat.
Oh,
Hmm. You're not sure.
you know what?
Clagon's unsure.
We'll do the yellow potion. Clagon's gonna put
Ooh, okay.
put it all towards the yellow potion.
Okay, very good. You sit down, take out the gold necklace, and unfurl the scroll upon the bottom of this cavern, sensing that you're fairly in a safe enough place to do so. Fanning it out and reading about the inscription, what you need, you eventually decide to place down the yellow necklace and 25 gold pieces. Is that true?
Yeah, 25 gold pieces and
Okay.
the necklace.
Okay, very good. You can delete, you can deduct your 25 gold. You can delete the gold necklace from your inventory. And then you place the yellow potion in the center of the ritual scroll, wrapping it up in the various valuables and etc. that you have placed there, and begin uttering the verbal and semantic hand gestures that are asked of you. What magical words does Clagon say to help him identify this yellow potion?
Da 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 da.
Okay, very good. Summoning a more guttural chant, you unleash your magical power upon the identify scroll, and the scroll wrapped around your object vanishes in a nice flash of blue light. Jebediah fucking reacts to the small light display, and there sitting before you is a yellow potion, which you now have the firm understanding to be a potion of great enlargement.
Just what I needed.
The effects of a potion of a great enlargement are as follows. They make one creature about 3 times their typical size for a duration of 1 minute or so.
Damn it!
It's typically suggested that this be used on a creature or beast that isn't as sentient, I suppose is the right word, as like a human being or something of that effect, because there could be some potential after effects.
That isn't a human being?
Yeah, that is not a human being.
Okay.
It's suggested that humans don't take this, though they can. It's technically any creature. It is with you having a perfect understanding of how this works, you understand that there could be potential side effects. if a human were to take it. Other than that, though, this makes any creature who ingests it up to 3 times its size for a minute duration. It increases their strength by like 8 times. It does a lot.
Okay. Well, I was gonna save this for Ulsgood because I feel we could. A giant ass orc would have been cool, but
Allow me to tell you exactly what's going on. It triples the target size in all dimensions, and its weight is multiplied by 8.
Oh, don't worry. This is just what I needed for the idea that I had. Clagone's gonna go back.
Okay. Jebediah follows suit. On your shoulder, chirping all the while.
Clagone's gonna grasp Jebediah.
You fucking like firmly? What's going on here?
Oh, softly, but he's gonna uncork the potion and force feed it to Jebediah.
You unpop the cork, and almost as if like to catnip, Jebediah begins as you reach over onto the shoulder of the creature. It's already beginning to snake its way down your arm and onto your elbow, and it's like on your forearm, and like begins moving over toward the bottle. You can see the sniffers of Jebediah engaged with this liquid. Obviously, it has some kind of additive in it to make it more suggestible for creatures of this kind. As Jebediah is practically licking the bottle before you have enough time to turn it to feed it to the beast. You feed your pet giant brown bat Jebediah this potion.
Yes.
Okay, very good. You begin to tilt the bottle back, allowing Jebediah to rest in the palm of your other hand. As she begins to, or he begins to swallow and suck upon the beautiful golden liquid that you now find it to be. Perhaps a sugar water of some kind. It doesn't really have too much of a poignant scent to you, though obviously this creature is affixed to it. And before a dozen seconds have passed, the contents of the bottle have been emptied into the pet that is Jebediah. And with Jebediah no longer in your inventory. They hop down onto the ground. They begin to twitch and have this type of violent reaction. You aren't sure what's happening, but Jebediah could be having some kind of attack at this time. You can make a medicine or a nature check to determine, what's happening to poor Jebediah as they're kind of twitching and doing the funky chicken on the ground. The poor beast. You do a medicine check, thinking the poor animal could be suffering, taking a knee and getting real closer, and that's when the body of Jebediah begins to twist and contort as she begins to, her muscles begin to grow out. And up to a larger extent, and the entire frame of the creature begins to change and morph, growing in size, and then growing once again. Over the course of about a minute and a half, you watch as Jebediah's teeth grow to be the size of daggers, and their red eyes now a vibrant crimson, about the size of baseballs that you could reach out and see. Their ears have grown longer, and their furry, almost mane type of consistency of fur that runs about their body for a little while flushes out and becomes more lush and vibrant enough for you to grab in your full hands. And the creature now stands towering upon you. At least looking you in the eye, hunched over, before unleashing a devastating screech, flapping its wings up into the air and grabbing you with its large feet underneath your armpits, and begins carrying you up into the air. And that is where we will end our one-on-one for the night.